intro by Mitch Pfeiffer here, everybody. JP ain't checking in, though. Jesus.
Stumbled over my words, forgot my own name. I don't even know who my co-host is.
Jeez, here we go.
I think it's Thursday night, right? Just kidding. No, man. How's everyone doing out there tonight? We are back yet again, another episode of the podcast. Man, going to be talking music, cannabis, marketing, a little bit of game, and we have a special guest joining us in a couple moments. Man, to get it started, man, clearly you're firing up a little pinner right there, a little pinky pinner. Man, what you smoking on?
Stop it. Man, I'm smoking on the what was it? We got the Garanimals shatter wrapped around the ice cream cake joint.
Who's the ice cream cake from?
That JP.
Oh, the homegrown, huh?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I honestly don't remember. This was a sample that Jazzy brought from
okay.
work.
The mystery sample ice cream cake. How you feel about ice cream cake as a whole? The strain kind of, it has one of those strains where the name is like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, ice cream cake, but it got a little played out over the last, 8 to 9 months.
What got played out? What got played? I'm gonna jump that gun. Strains don't get played out.
All right.
People start growing them shitty.
Okay.
That's what it is. The genetics get watered down, and people suck at growing consistently good cannabis. So shout out to all the good growers, man.
That's fair. Yeah, ice cream cake's one of those strains. Again, the name. I feel like I feel like you could never have trouble selling a strain named ice cream cake. And when done right, it's done really well.
This one's fire.
Up here, Tranquil Forest in Washington does a really good ice cream cake. In California, I know Ember Valley does a good ice cream cake, and in Oregon, Cloud Cover Cannabis does a pretty good ice cream cake. So
3 ice cream cakes. Wow.
Yeah, I got one for each state, man. Yeah. So what I'm smoking on, man, I got some Doghouse. I got this Drool strain, which I believe is something they bred in house. I could not find much about the genetics.
Sounds like they bred it in house.
Yeah, and Drool, fits with the dog theme. So I think they did it in house. Their Smack strain that they did in house, we had reviewed, was Mac and Scooby Snacks. That stuff was fire. This I can't pin what is on this, but Doghouse has been someone that I've always been a fan of. But this West Coast Weed Tour, I had a chance to try a couple of their strains from Washington and Oregon, and they are. They're going to be someone I reach for pretty consistently, I feel like, moving forward, man. I'm a big fan of the flower.
A few years ago, I felt like their weed was dry and or too dense, but the last, 2.5 years, it seems like they've got the moisture, in the dry and the cure down a little bit more.
Yeah, they still have a little bit drier cure, but it's sticky. It still has a good moisture content, and it is fluffy. It is not dense. I mean, I just had like...
This is a couple years ago. I mean, shit, bro. I haven't been there 2 years.
Yeah. No, and they've always done a good job. And it's dope because they've had the Mylar bag for a while, and it's crazy. Like the Mylar bag in Washington is just now being trendy, and so it's just like these guys already, with the print, right, the all over print. That's people are just now running to that. These guys.
They were early. They've been doing that since 2016, 17.
They've been running with that. So,
Also, hey, it's my 2 years here in LA, bro. We've been in LA for 2 years. We've been around for 10 years.
Los Angeles has had you for 2 years, and A, it is not sick of you yet, and B, it didn't spit you back home.
The pandemic got the whole world sick once I got here.
Yeah.
Super spreader.
Well, LA can blame that on you out there.
Super spreader thing.
I mean, with the pinners you roll, when you pass them in rotation, only so many people tap it before that thing's burned through. So,
Dude, I mean, I'm deadly with the pinners.
So, yeah, man. Well, congrats. LA, that was a big thing. I mean, I think it was funny. I remember when you were talking about moving down there, you were just being like, man, should I move? Like, I don't know. We're building this base up here in Washington. Should we stay up here and double, triple down on that? Or should we go out here and expand? And at the time you didn't really have much tying you down. And so, I was like, bro, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but I'd go, man. I mean, it's just, two different locations, Seattle and LA. You know, connect the cultures, man. Make the moves.
Miami's next.
Well, that's on you. I'm not moving to
I'm
Philly.
only going to warm places. I'm only going to warm places.
I can second that.
I'm
But
done
no,
with it. No more Indiana, no more Seattle, no more West. And I drove down to Portland like 9 times in that year.
Yeah. I mean, and shit, even the year before you moved to Cali, you drove to Cali like 5 times. I think you did like 3 times in like a month span or a month and a half span.
Felt like that.
Yeah, you did it a lot. So, I mean, I guess out there for people, right? Like, you know, you kind of made the jump, right? Not to get too into your personal life or put you on the spotlight, but like you were kind of in a transition period where you're kind of figuring out just naturally in life, like what's next. And the LA thing came on, you know, cool. Well, I don't have a ton tying me down. I'm either starting something next up here, starting something next down there. And obviously it took you a little bit longer to get established going somewhere, you know, up here you have connections left and right. But if you could just kind of feed the people the quick scenario, like what were some of the factors that led you into finding success moving to LA? You know, especially, you know, many people move there for industry, whether entertainment, music, film, you know, you move there for the cannabis scene, but what are some of the things like that you feel like contributed to the success you found down there?
I spent every last dollar I had and an ounce of gas getting to every single event where people that ran the show, ran the industry, leaders, if there was 2 to 5 leaders to be met or more, I went. And sometimes I went to 2 or 3 events in a night out here. Yeah. No joke. Sometimes it means you gotta, okay, cool, I'm in, I'm bang, 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 1 hour, 45 minutes, and then I'm out into another one because it's LA. And like, you can always go back, you feel me? But like, you just don't want to miss out on all of it, you know?
And that's something for you, right? As opposed to, you know, when you were up here in Seattle, there was definitely a couple points in our grind, and I know your life, where you were at a different event almost every single night of the week. You know, going to LA is now you can be at 3 different events every single night of the week, you know? And
It did. There was, before pre-COVID, it did get to a time where you could do things like that. If you didn't want to go to the big blunt talks or canna gather, you could go to the black market smoke sesh and go buy, you know, the trap packs and the stoner patch kids, you know, edibles that are painted with whatever. You know, there's all, even now, man, there's still in LA, there's all these underground events. They do them socially distanced. You get checked. I mean, you know, people still do it. They don't stop. I don't go to that shit. I don't go to events. I specifically pass up on shit right now. But we are, you know, and then I prioritize. Sometimes there's an event or sometimes there's an opportunity that's just really not, you know, more important than the content at the end of the day. You know, and I think that that's something that's super important. You know, people overlook. Here's something. Don't overvalue the dollar, right? Don't overvalue working for a job or overvalue, you know, oh, I got to show up here to meet, you know, to go be at this event or whatever it is. You know, I got to spend X amount of dollars. Sometimes you really got to look at the opportunity and see the potential value of the relationships you can build. Right. And so that'd be something that I would rather have people key in on is build your network. Invest time and money into that. Yeah. And then, you know, the times and places where those people don't see you, when when the big event is going on and you're not there because you're working at home on the content, they notice. People notice, you know. And so I can't stress, like, you know, even right now, the last year's been a lot of COVID, but you know, in the first year of me being out here in LA, there was so much going on, but a lot of opportunity comes from just working other people on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and also Sunday.
Yeah.
Even us, we are here on Sunday nights doing a podcast at 8 p.m. This is not when people do podcasts, which is why we picked it.
And then I'm up, and then I'm up, you know, till midnight after this. We're, you know, getting this uploaded everywhere. Part of our newsletter, you know, our newsletter for tomorrow morning's done until I plug this link in, and you know, I'll be up working on numerous things to get just a jump start on Monday. But I
this
think
is the grind, though. This is just so people know, this is what it's like being the owner. Until you can afford to hire other people to do this, or you can recruit like Mitch. Till you recruit people to take that specifically out of your hands, we are in that boat week after week after week. And we see success because we make that sacrifice.
Right, and I want to circle back on what you were just talking about. You know, because a lot of our audience is artists or people in the music industry. It might potentially be in the cannabis industry, and so you know, just to circle back, and I just know I can kind of speak more to this just because I know Joey so well. But for people that look to move, whether you're moving to an Atlanta or a Texas, or even you're moving from a small town in the Pacific Northwest to a Tacoma, a Seattle, a Portland, or moving to LA. You know, to reiterate what I heard from you, and it's also the ethos of a lot of why we've reached success together and individually is, you know, understanding two different things, right? Two different concepts or takeaways I took from that are, you know, one, it's not what you know, it's who you know, your network. And so, you know, prioritizing networking and building relationships, you know, is just as important.
Comes out of what you do, man.
It's just as important as clocking into a job and getting dollars for your time, going and plugging in your time elsewhere where you can extract relationships, and especially relationships that could eventually turn into dollars, right? Much bigger dollars than whatever you could do from just clocking in for a check. and then two, you know, and it kind of relates directly to that, is don't overvalue the dollar. Yes, we need money to survive, to pay our bills, you know. We have different family and health situations everyone has going on that require funds, and whatever we want to do likely has a budget to do that, but don't prioritize simply making money. Like, exchanging your time for currency is not the only thing you should be trading your time for, and some things out there are much more impactful. Like we just said, certain relationships, if I invest 5 hours tonight where I could make a couple $100, or I could invest 5 hours tonight building relationships that might make me tens of thousands of dollars over a year, or, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 over the
It all adds up. It all adds up. You got to build brand. You got to use your time and your energy and put all that into the right things. Everything from us choosing to do this podcast to creating these CBD products to getting this goddamn mic right here. You know what I mean? It's about investing time and energy into the right stuff, which is a good segue because, you know, we've got so much in the works, right? We launched this new podcast. We've got, you know, a future local legend here to interview with us shortly, right? With Darryl Crews. Big shout out to Darryl and his work. And then, you know, with us, we just started putting time and energy into cannabis a few years back, and now here we are again. We got the CBD products officially launching. We're waiting on some photos, y'all. We'll get the photos uploaded into the website, and then we're pushing publish as soon as it's done after that. So I wanted to just, before we bring Darryl on, I wanted to bounce through the different products that we have here. So you guys, Respect My Region, CBD, full spectrum CBD products, 100% hemp, exactly 0.03% THC in our products, down to the most accurate precision that we can possibly get with our engineers. Big shout out to Mark Hubbard. So first things first, we've got the Boost tincture, you guys. Got the Boost tincture. So this is 100%, again, full spectrum hemp oil, 1,000 milligrams in the tincture, one dropper, roughly 75 milliliters when you suck it up. The Boost one is great for the morning and during the day to relieve tension, anxiety, or at least to help support those things. Can't necessarily guarantee that it's going to work. Then you've got the Chill. This one's great for relaxing more into the night, sleep, things of that nature. The difference between the two ends up being lavender, Roman chamomile, and vanilla, versus this has some citrusy aspects to it in terms of flavor. And then the Refresh is your minty vanilla, great for during the day, or, you know, to kind of help revitalize you in that 1 to 3 p.m. time frame, kind of when you're dragging, you know. All of these items going to be good for relieving tension. I specifically utilize it to help me get my muscle tension, my sore spots, all that, just so we can stop hurting and go to sleep. Up next, we've got pre-rolls. RMR officially has pre-rolls. These are anywhere between 12 and 20% on the hemp CBD. They're not going to get you psychoactively high. You're not going to feel stoned. I'm smoking a joint, right? This joint going to get you stoned. These joints in this tube, not going to get you stoned. Right. So that's pretty exciting. People that are afraid of getting high or too anxious, not going to happen with that one. Up next, we've got the vegan CBD gummies. Check this out, you guys. So this one particularly is a flavor that we're very excited about. This is the mango chili lime. It uses basically tahini seasoning and then the generic mango flavor that we have as the base. And so you should get a good, natural, all natural flavored mango, and then this wonderful tahini, 10 milligram CBD a gummy, half a gummy in the morning, half a gummy in the afternoon, and then one full gummy to go to sleep. Great, great, great situation. And then last but not least, we've got the Melonade with melatonin. Check this out. So the Melonade with melatonin is actually really good. It's watermelon lemonade. And then we added a tiny little bit of melatonin into that to help you guys get to a quick, efficient, and nice dedicated REM sleep. So too much melatonin can actually impact your sleep negatively. So highly recommend sticking to just one gummy on the melonades and one gummy on the CBD to really, really give you a quality night's rest. Big shout out to everyone who helped bring us to life. M6 Labs, Mark Hubbard, Terry, man, you guys, it's exciting. Mitch, you helped design this. You actually created the logo, not the logo, but the label for us, and worked together with me to bring that to life. So nice work, brother. It's crazy that we're here finally.
I know, and it's funny that I learned the most minimal of graphic design skills simply for the fact of doing mock-ups, and it's dope. This is one of the first things that I was able to design for RMR. I've done stuff for clients, but it's now I can add designer to the resume.
Oh man, it's official. It's gone to your. It's officially gone to your head.
You bet your ass. Sorry, I'm just sharing this one more place real quick. And then...
No, you're all good. You're all good. I actually didn't grab my laptop before we did this, so I'm not tapped in right now.
Cool. Yeah, let me just, all right, share that. Cool. Well, we're going to bring, with that said, we're going to bring on our guest for today. I'd like to welcome my guy.
Yo,
Hey.
how you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, man. Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on, and especially with short notice. One of the things I wanted to touch on with the intro, we'll touch on it briefly, is it was just announced that Apple Music was doing some play. Was Apple Music correct? Not Spotify.
Yep.
Apple Music, right? Apple Music is doing region-based playlists, which obviously is respect my region, and doing region-specific content is something we love and fully believe in. Just that sort of positioning. So when I saw that they were doing that, it's like reaffirmation that our thought process is right. And I'm like, that's dope, because we built this to give people a platform that's clearly going to provide a platform. And then, when I see the Pacific Northwest list and see how well it's curated, I'm like, damn, this is actually a solid list for a change. It's something that we didn't do that I'm not critical of. And come to find out, you were one of the men behind that, man. So, could you briefly kind of explain what's going on with this playlist and your involvement with that?
Yeah, so I'm curating this playlist. It's called The New Pacific Northwest. It's on Apple Music. I curate it every week, 50 records, just trying to showcase the best of what we're doing here in the Pacific Northwest. If you want like corporate background on this, like you could go to allaccess.com and you can read what Ebro wrote, because then I have to defer to Ebro,
Yeah. We dropped for a second.
We do it every week, refresh every Tuesday, and the Northwest is here, man.
Hell yeah. Yes.
And I loved, it's a good mix of top tier local talent that people might not know outside of here, and then the artists that are clearly surpassed that barrier, right? Which I think is important for people that are not from here to give it a chance, where they say, oh, that's a familiar name, or that's a song I already know, and then it blends in nicely. Because I know, from us trying to do playlists in the past, sometimes it's like, do we feature kind of the few mainstream records we have from here, or do we feature just the the non-label stuff? And so what's kind of been your approach as far as like what you want to do in terms of balance? Are you just really looking at, there's a lot of dope
balance?
Yeah.
It's balance, you know what I mean? Just like you said, you have to think about the things, It's like, hey, like people come into playlists with a record that they know, right? It's good that they hear a record they know. And then, you can sequence it, to you can sequence it so that people can discover other things. So it's like it's just kind of like how you do radio. Like you lead with the hit, and then you put something undiscovered in the champion spot, and people find it. It's called the sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something for, artists out there that are always wanting to get on playlist or radio and might be frustrated with, things being of this unattainable nature of the play. We look at local radio, right? Or any radio, the top 10 playlist is obviously going to be top 10 songs along the whole nation. Oh, it just dropped out, came back in. But, I think it's good for them to know, right, that to get on these platforms, you are going to be one of a few sandwiched in or carefully put in place of things that people are familiar of. So it's good to create music that is able to fit into those rotations, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so can artists submit to get on this playlist, or is it just something where you're just picking from what's out there?
Yeah, I take submissions. Make sure that you send me Apple Music links, and you can send to New Northwest at thinkjanuary.com. And I listen every day. So so you can send to that email. The email again is New Northwest at thinkjanuary.com. And so you can send away. I listened to too much music today. So
hell yeah.
So yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd love to learn, just for the people that don't know your background, I'd love if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit about who you are and, your passion for music and kind of, just kind of vibe for a second. I'm over here smoking. I don't know if I'm the only one smoking. I'm usually smoking always, you know what I mean? So I want to know about a little bit of your story and kind of vibe,
So, man, I'm, Darryl Crews from Tacoma. I've been involved in music in some way most of my life. From my family, being involved in music in different ways, and my big entree into it was really. I had a few splashes before, but the big entree for me was being a part of that whole Sky Movement, Nicki Minaj, Will Jordan, Clement Shad splash about 10 years ago. That was like my really big national splash. I've been involved in the business before that in different ways, but that was like my big step where it really kind of took off. And then I done 1,000 things since. Worked at Revolt, produced some TV shows over there. Did like some music supervision for some different companies, and did some like work on like Love and Hip Hop and like a lot of TV stuff. Working like consulting like for like Beluga Heights back when that was a thing, with J.R. Rhoda and Tommy Rhoda and that whole world. So just like been outside for, over 10 years and just kind of blending the national with the local. That's always kind of been my world. It's like, how do we help, people from where we're from here in the Northwest go national? So that's my thing, did the night show, and we're coming back soon. The night show will be back online for now. As the world opens up, we'll try to maybe do something in physical space. But like right now, we're going to be releasing some episodes online. So kind of be on the look for that. You can stay tuned for updates on the Night Show NW on Instagram and on Twitter. And so we'll be updating that soon. So I've been a guy just trying to help people for a long time.
Yeah, and so with the Night Show, obviously, because that was was it a monthly event or was it just a regular event?
It was a regular event. We were doing it month to month, and then kind of slowed on the frequency to make the impact stronger.
Yeah, we definitely know that, finding the right cadence out here. But how the pandemic obviously came out of nowhere. It affected, we canceled I think 17 or 18 events last year we had on the books. So I'm sure you guys played a lot. So what was the design, like the thought process of not going digital immediately and kind of putting it on ice for a minute? And then why do you feel like right now is kind of the right time to bring it back?
Well, man, I think about it like I was helping launch a space here in Tacoma called Alma Mater Tacoma. So I had the space to do, a live event. And I was like, man, we have to do something that really helps people. And I was like, what could really help folks? We got to get people in the room with people. Like, I don't think it's a lack of talent. I just think it's you're in Washington, you're in, Tacoma, you're from Pasco, you're from wherever you're from. And you don't know anybody. So like, how do we get people to know people? We introduce people to people. So, you know, I had different guests, like, I had Carly Hustle from Apple come. I had Lenny S from Rock Nation come. I had Erica Ramirez from Red Bull, and different people come to town. Just so if you came into the room, I made sure that they would walk around the room and meet people and just vibe. So it's like, hey, if you came in, you get to have a cool entertainment experience, and then you could meet somebody that could change your life. And like that's was the hope was. So, that's what we like do, is just try to like do like life-changing opportunities at the show. And digitally now it's like, hey, like I just miss doing the show. I just feel like it's a powerful thing. We could still do interviews and stuff digitally. So it's like, why not continue to do it and just kind of continue the brand, so for when we come back into physical space and we can fly people in again and make it a thing, that the brand is still going. So like that's kind of the thought process.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love the thought process of like bringing people, looking where there's a gap and filling that void, and of being of value and not of how can we make some money? Like what's an underutilized opportunity to make some money? It's an underutilized opportunity to bring the scene together, which I think, amongst your many travels in this, I think you've been a good example of sharing insight, knowledge, connections, and being a piece that puts people on, right? And I think, for people out there, I think a big thing and a question I have for you is like, why getting involved in music, what was the choice of being like, I'm not going to be an artist, I'm not going to necessarily be a beat maker, but I'm going to get in here and I'm going to make moves at a high level, because many people look at it and just I want to get on stage, and then they might fall into something else. So what kind of was your journey of like picking, like, I want to be this glue that moves between the front and the back end of the industry?
Well, I mean, like everyone, I mean, I started as an artist. I started as a, rapper, singer, producer, and I still do those things kind of like on my own time. I might release something just for fun, but like, I kind of was thinking, I was like, Steve Lobel has this thing. I don't know if you know who Steve Lobel is. He's like, the road manager for Run DMC, and he managed Bone Thugs and a bunch of stuff. He's had, he always just, and he still says this thing. He always says the coach lasts longer than the player, right? And so I took that to heart. I'm like, okay, I'm decent. I could maybe do something as an artist or creator. I could probably do something, but let me learn this game and win at it. And so like I just kind of was thinking like, yo, I could always make stuff, but like learning this business is going to take me some time, and getting respect and getting, reputation in this game. I got to learn how to move in a professional manner. So I just saw that, and also just some exposure I had as a young person to people who succeeded in the publishing space. Like Roger Troutman was a good friend of my dad's. And so I got to kind of see like, oh, Roger, with what they do with the publishing and how they put the publishing money into real estate and how they do all these different things. I was like, I got to really think about this differently. And so it was just something that I picked up, and I saw different people doing around my friends and my family, and that's how I did it.
Yeah. And I think the region needs more people, right, that are willing to wear those hats and take those seats. I mean, my journey as well, I started as a producer, and I quickly found out, or not quickly, over some time, found out I didn't necessarily enjoy having that be my income. That was something that I loved to do. And through my pursuit of that, I found that I love media and marketing and all these other interests, and have been able to wear those hats and not really care about being in front. Whatever I do is just for me and my passion. But something else I want to pick your brain on, because obviously you're very Tacoma, you're very connected, you put on for the area, at a very high level. What do you feel is the state of Tacoma hip hop right now, and just the culture and the music out there? I know the last year has had us real stagnant with the lack of events and but how do you feel the scene's going right there in Tacoma right now?
I'm excited, man. Like, I really think about, all the artists that are, putting things out and are working on things. And like, I think that it's a really unique time for Tacoma. I think the world is coming to Tacoma in a different way. You look at these factories that are coming, you look at these different people moving down. Obviously, like, you're having different people from Seattle come down, and people from different parts of the country come here too. It's a unique time. And then just like you see people growing musically. I'm really excited about Swanks. I'm excited about Perry Porter. I'm excited about Even Clem, who's been doing this forever, I still think he has some good things going. Will Jordan is doing amazing things, associated with the Jamla crew. I'm gonna miss somebody, Keon Sims, all the stuff happening at the post office studios. I'll Fight You came back.
Mhm.
Like, you look up and down and I'm missing 1,000 people, and everybody knows I love them. But like, it's a great time. I mean, when you think about it's a diverse sound. There's different types of people. Like Bruce Leroy doesn't make music that sounds like anybody. Like, there's just a bunch of different things happening in Tacoma that to be excited about. And I'm excited to help people grow. Sean Brooks, goodness gracious, like he's incredible. So I mean, I could just go down the list of names. It's just a special time in Tacoma.
Yeah, Tacoma's got some hitters right now and it's not just undercover. A couple of these guys are really like Louis, getting
Louis, my goodness, he's killing them right now. He's the Times Square with Cowboy doing numbers. Look at the numbers on that record, The Broken Soul. We playlisted it. It's going bananas.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right, and then you said that I'll Fight You coming back together, which is localized, and those guys on a not necessarily mainstream, but on the hip hop niche level across the globe, they got fans. Those guys have put up numbers and have a crazy fan base. Yeah, man, it's awesome, and I think alongside even Tacoma, the greater Pacific Northwest area, I think is seeing. I guess everything's exponential. There's just more people, but we got more producers landing major songs, more writers getting major songs, more artists getting major labels or major looks. You look
at oh boy, man. I mean, Keys Open Doors. Man, he's on Ariana Grande, bro.
Right.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Silas is on Ariana Grande. That's ridiculous. Like, so it's a beautiful time. Now we just have to continue to like build the infrastructure, collaborate more, be supportive, and just find ways to break bread. It's like we could really be a machine. Like, you think about what the Northwest is, you think about all the resources that we have compared to the rest of the United States, and like the cultural understanding that we have compared to the rest of the United States. It could really be something far beyond what we might even imagine on a limited basis. Like, it could really be like, when I listen to what we're doing, to me, it sounds like the future. It really sounds like the future. So I'm like, how do we capitalize on it? How do we make sure that, people's budgets are right? Like, how do we raise the money to get people moving? Like, it's just, that's the stuff I'm thinking about.
I want to talk about some of those kinds of things, because that's stuff that I'm sure you have insights about, just because of your experience over the last 10 to 15 years, right? And so I would love to hear any kind of insight you have about, what are some things, artists in the Northwest, comment if you could on both sides of the spectrum, where are some things that the area and the region is lacking, and then how can we as a region start to overcome that? What are some of those budgets that they need, and some of those scenarios,
Man, honestly, like, I'm just saying, like, just raise money, bro. Like, I can't even really get too specific on you. I'm just make sure you got some paper. That's where my head is at. It's just like, think about what you have to do in ads, think about what you have to do in influencers, think about what it takes to travel, what it takes to move around. Like, you can't really travel or do anything like that right now, because obviously, like, bro, COVID-19 is killing the game. But like, when that happens, will you be able to move how you need to move? What does your merchandise situation look like? You know what I mean? Just thinking about, like, it's a noisy world, right? The world is noisy. How do you overcome that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you find, like, the hardest part sometimes is finding your market, right? Like, once you find your market, you can serve it. But it's like finding those people. Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely an important way to look at it too, is finding your market.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, and I think artists out there, also need to understand. I think it's so important. To me, the best game is always like the most obvious or cliche things, right? Where you're just like, if you're trying to do this, make sure you got your paper right, like, because this shit costs money. It's not like, X amount of dollars buys your way on, but like you said, if you want to travel, like, you need to network, which is going to take money, or take some sort of financial freedom to where you can take time off to go do things. You don't have to You can sleep in your car. You can fly somewhere and not sleep. Just grind for 24 hours and fly back if you can't afford a hotel. There's a lot of different ways you could do this on a budget, but it
You
takes
can save money.
it takes some sort of capital to put a project together, to get a project out there, and then same thing, get yourself out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just making sure that you're raising the right capital. You start thinking about the business plan. There's so many different resources for small business owners. Think of yourself as a small business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be really learning from, you know, SCORE and SBA. They have these SBA centers that you can learn from. There's so many different ways that you can learn. I mean, YouTube University is free, and you can do it at your house. So just continue to learn. I'm learning every day. I'm not gonna play here and be like, yo, I got the business all the way mapped out and figured out. I'm just a guy who just thugs it out and learns every day.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Say less.
Yeah. I mean, it's doing the most of what you got and trying to get a little bit more to do even more. You know what I mean? That's really the name of the grind. No matter which way your grind's going, that's the way it is. And again, you know, there's another key in there of thinking of your hustle or your platform as a business perspective, because I think a lot of artists get wrapped up in just, I'm a rapper, I need to shoot a music video, I need to get on Spotify and be on Instagram. And it's like, okay, like that's definitely the basis if you're doing anything. So, but that's not what blows people up, you know, and that's not a model that you can monetize without a lot of luck. So thinking of the business models of how can I make money with this music, even if it's not necessarily exactly the lane I want to do, but to reinvest in the lane that I want to do.
Exactly.
And we're seeing a lot of artists from the region, right, break through as songwriters, right, over the last 5 to 10 years. You know, I know you mentioned Clem earlier, but you know, these amazing artists in their own right have been able to build, you know, careers and be able to fund their families, you know, through a different route than just being the person on stage, which has also widened their network for when they are stepping on stage to being much higher than if they were just focused on, you know, pure artistry.
I'm trying to tell you, like, you know, the biggest thing that like you do is just like find ways that you can control budgets. You know what I mean? Like produce things. Find like if they're not paying records for your music, what are they paying for? And put your music in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like get what you want inside of someone else getting what they want. Like build your win into somebody else's win. Right? Like it's not rocket science, bro. Like what do people want? Give them what they want. Can you get what you want inside of what they want? Like it's just very straightforward. You know, serve people, help people. People get what they need. You know, you survive, you get to put your music out, you do your thing. It's all love. But you know what I mean? It's just it can't be, you know, it can't be I'm gonna get mine and you're not gonna get yours. It's like the world doesn't work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fucking jewel right there.
Yeah.
That is a gem. You said just to reiterate it, man. I want people to understand it. You said it twice, but I'm gonna try to read it. You know, get a win inside someone else's win. Get yours while inside of somebody else getting theirs. You know, be a part of that. That is, I mean,
that's the way, bro. Like every time, like literally, that's literally business. It's like, yo, they will, you know, they give you figure out the service. They give you the money. You take the money. You grow the money. You repeat the cycle. Like, come on, bro. It don't gotta be this hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That is, man, that is a jewel. That is a jewel. I hope people get again. I said it a little bit earlier, but sometimes the best game is some simple, like you hear it and you're like, wow, that's not like the most profound thing. But when you actually understand what goes into it, that's what makes it profound, you know?
Love on people, you know, serve people and try to get what you need, man. That's the thing. Just try to get what you need. Be honest.
Find the label or group that fits your vibe, or find the bank that can ride with you. Search through 10 of them. Ask 100 people. Ask 100 banks. Right?
Credit unions too, bro. Credit union, like a credit union is a great, you know, it's a great way to like learn. I'm telling you, like talking to bankers at credit unions taught me so much about, you know, how to move the business, how to grow the business, what the business is available for. Just like use your resources and do stuff that scares you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like a super duper quant. Like I don't be sitting here with data analysis. It's just like, well, I have to sometimes, but like, some of that stuff, like I'm still an artist at heart, but I'm like, I had to dig in and like, numbers weren't my forte 10 years ago. But step by step, piece by piece, we grow into a healthier relationship with numbers, and we can have, conversations about numbers. So if you're an artist, just like, bro, just take some time, dig into the things that scare you and face them. Be a man or a woman about it, face what you're afraid of. And that will be the key to your success. If you can get over your fear in any way, in any realm, in any relationship to your art, whether it's the business or the art itself, fear is like the enemy of success. It's like you have to address the things that you're afraid of in order to succeed. So if it's the money, if it's I'm scared of what people are going to think about it, if I'm whatever, you got to get over that and get into it.
If it's I don't know how to get there too, that means you better start looking at it.
You can ask somebody. You can ask somebody. People will tell you if you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, shit, like you just said a moment ago, right? Like go into a bank and talk to a banker, like if you don't have a budget or a business plan and you just go to a bank and it's not a super crazy day and you're just like, I'm trying to get a business loan. They're going to be like, go sit over there. We have a business loan department. They're going to come in. And like you said, you might feel like a complete idiot because they're going to ask, where's your business plan? Well, shit, bro, I don't even have one. Well, what's this? Well, I just got this idea and I'm at square one. Can you give me what I need for square one? That person's job is to give you the information. They're going to break it down for you, and you're going to get the information that took someone a quarter in school that they were half paying attention to in class. They're just going to break it down with you in front of you where you can ask questions. And if you start out, I'm on square one, I don't know, Dick, there's no level of embarrassment to go from there. You know what I mean? You can only build upon that foundation.
Yeah, because it's, what do they say? It's either one day or day one, and you get to pick.
There you go.
Damn.
There you go. Plenty of.
I ain't never heard that before.
Yeah, that's I forgot who said that, but it was like
that was
somebody said that. But I keep that in my pocket, man. That was a gift.
Yeah, I'm about to steal that, man. I'm about to put that in my Twitter bio and act like I said it, man.
Darryl's been following you for a long time, so you better.
I'm gonna delete this episode so there's no evidence of this, and I'm taking that.
It's all good.
We screenshotted you 10 years ago, bro. Stop it.
Shit. So with that being said, man, I really appreciate you being on here. Do you have anything else that you'd like to plug, man, or anything that you'd like to address? Anything on your heart, man?
Man, just support the playlist. You know what I mean? It's like I want to see everybody be successful. Like submit music. This is a celebration. This is for us, man. Like this is for everybody that has been putting on these shows for years, trying to figure out a way up. Maybe not knowing how to get into these systems. Like this is a celebration for people like us, for people from where we're from. So like, maybe you're not on it this week. Like hit me up. Like you might be on it next week. Like who knows? Submit music to New Northwest at thinkjanuary.com. And yeah, night show coming soon. The Night Show Northwest. We're mostly active on Instagram. We're active on Twitter too. There should be some stuff coming out probably like, I'll say like March is like when we're gonna go nuts. So just be looking out, and thank you guys for the opportunity.
Awesome. Where can people find you at?
Oh, I'm everywhere on IMD Crews. So IAMDCREWS, and I'm everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere people are social.
Oh yeah.
People tap in. One of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow.
I used to have some crazy stuff on there.
You always got game, and then you always chiming in with good stuff as well. Whenever I see you on the timeline, it's like, oh yeah, there's value there.
Bless you, man. Thank you, and thank you guys for what you do, man. You guys have been holding it down for a long time.
Appreciate you, man. You definitely been one of the inspiring figures. I can remember going back on my early days and being like, okay. I don't even have a Twitter no more. I don't even, like that shit been deleted for 4 or 5 years now for me personally. But I remember when I first built that up, you and I was talking about Mitch earlier, Reese and some of these other people, we weren't from Seattle. We weren't from Western Washington like that. Yeah, I grew up in camp, but I wasn't in the community and music and shit until I got into college and met Mitch. And then that's when he showed me like, yo, like, here we go. And then when we got over to Western Washington, it was like, okay, I got to find all these people that are really, really in the community, and I got to learn and watch and respect the game and figure out how they move. And a lot of that inspiration came in the early days from YouTube guys, and then a lot of you mentioned Sky Movement early. That was some of the most inspiring shit back in the day to be a part of those moves. So
yeah, ever. That was big.
Crazy, man. Big. It's been a long journey, man. It's been a crazy time. Big shout out, bro. Appreciate you.
2021. I can't believe it's 2021. It's a long time.
Hell yeah.
We're dope.
Well, all right. I appreciate you, Darryl. Thank you for hopping on. And man, we'll be in touch. Like I said, people out there, definitely tap in with him. Yeah, man. We'll catch up soon, bro.
Awesome, man. Talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate you.
Later, B.
Bye, guys.
So for people out there, I want to also touch in. I know I've done this and circled back 5 different things he said, but when he was talking about the playlist, submit your music. If you're not on the playlist one day after you submit music, do not get in your feelings. If you're not there the next week, do not get in your feelings. If you're not there the week after that, do not get in your feelings. If you don't ever land on that playlist, do not get in your feelings, because that's going to do nothing for you, and that energy could be better put elsewhere. But regardless, the playlist is a platform for the region. If you are an artist within the region, simply sharing that playlist, putting someone else on that playlist, furthering the reach of music from this region, that helps you whether you're on the playlist or not. And
that's why we do what we do. We created this whole shit to help people from this region, man. Sell more shit, download more shit, stream more shit, buy more shit.
Well, and I just think people need to buy in and understand. The more people we understand that is what is good for the community is good for those within the community. What is good for the ecosystem is good for those that exist within the ecosystem. That's when we drive the community, the ecosystem, the platform, the region, whatever the fuck you want to call it, all the way up. So get out your feelings and don't be salty, and just support dope shit because it's dope and because it's where you're from, and that will give you more opportunities because it's where you're from.
Help other people win, and we will all help each other win.
Exactly. There's a lot of I really, really hope people listen to what Darryl said. There was like a lot. I've got a couple of those things that I had him say again. I got something from even that quote. It's either day one or one day or day one. That's something that I think I'm going to take with me for a while. There's a lot of power in just listening to that and reaffirming that. So I hope people got something for that. Something else that we want to move on, every episode we try and give a little bit of game for music artists, which I know some of that was covered in that conversation. But I wanted to briefly talk about swipe up ads on Instagram. I believe if you are a band, a musician, a rapper, a producer, you should be running swipe up ads 30 days out of the month. Unless there is 31 days, then you should be running it 31 days in that month. You can run just a couple dollars a day, but designing swipe up ads where you swipe and go directly to a YouTube video that starts playing the video, or directly to Spotify where they could start streaming your song or your Spotify playlist in general. That is something you should be doing every single day. It is incredibly powerful. The value and the cost of reaching someone using those tools is astronomically lower than any other advertising choice that you have out there. And whatever it costs today is the cheapest it will ever be, because it will progressively be more in demand. Therefore, the price will go up. And on Instagram, I can only serve you one ad every three stories you see an ad. If they go any more frequency than that, nobody's going to be on Instagram. So it's a fixed supply to some aspect, and as demand increases, price will go up. So I would just suggest you to get in now. It's like investing. If you're investing in cryptocurrency and you see Bitcoins at 30, 40 grand now, 3 years ago, those people being like, Bitcoin is the cheapest it'll ever be today, time has shown that they were right. People will be like, I wish I would have put my money in 3 years ago. If you're an artist out there, start putting money on swipe up ads tomorrow. Don't wait till next year and go, I should have started this a year ago.
The key to this whole thing is to stop waiting and start asking and spending time and researching, investing in knowing more information about, the different kinds of ways you can make money as an artist, BMI, ASCAP, DistroKid, United Masters, all the different services and things that are out there in the music industry. You guys need to do the research. We're going to do what we can to supply you guys with content to share and educate y'all, but ultimately it's on you. You got to read it. You got to watch the videos. You got to listen to the interviews, connect with people like Darryl, connect with people that are out there or here in LA, here in New York, here in, Miami, all these different places where the music industry's at. So, there's a lot of definitely free game out there. You guys take advantage of it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Big shout out to Darryl for being on the show, man. It's great.
Yeah. A lot of jewels in there. And just to build off what you said, people got to take those steps, and I think to build off our conversation with Darryl and what you just said, it's definitely just about getting started. Start spending your money, start getting there. Even if you don't know what you're doing, that fear of looking stupid or whatever, throw that shit in the trash and just start moving forward, because otherwise you're never going to start moving forward. And you're
start with $500 a month, save it up.
Yeah.
Start there.
Well, that's
Go for everybody.
If your goal is 5 miles away from you, where I want to go is the equivalent of 5 miles, right? You got to start walking. If you sit there and think, what if I'm going to sit here and spend all year thinking of my best way to go, man, you just start going and you'll figure that shit out as you go.
Absolutely.
So I think that does it for this episode, man. Episode 5 of the RMR podcast.
5 episodes in, y'all. RMR Podcast. Mitch will actually be back here on Wednesday doing the RMR Radio, where he'll be diving in a little bit more deep into specifically the Pacific Northwest region. When I'm on RMR Radio, I'll be doing more cannabis, a little bit of music, dabbling here and there, doing a little bit of things, reviewing some weed, doing my thing.
Yeah. So be back on Wednesday on the live streams. This episode, of course, the RMR podcast every Sunday at 8:00, and then you can find it on Spotify or YouTube or any of that afterwards. And so, I think that's what we got. If anyone has any questions, if there's anything you want us to go over on this, you can always chime in the comments. I know we were talking about fear a little bit earlier. People have the fear of looking stupid or anything like that. Always shoot the DM. If you know us, text us, ask, hey, the podcast is great. This is some content or a question I have or things I'd like you to go over. If you'd like us to, you can always DM us if you have just a question in general. And then 2, if any of these subjects you want to really go in depth, there is a way to hire some consulting. I'm not doing this whole podcast to peddle that to you at the end, but if there are certain things that you would like to know, we would be more than happy of setting up a consulting session with you and really helping you get that, some access to some tools, processes, thoughts and approaches. We've wasted tens of thousands of dollars doing things the wrong way to figure out the right way. And so, sometimes it's worth investing in, saving tens of thousands of dollars in mistakes. So we are here for that.
Yes. Available, ready to rock and kill it.
So with that, I think we're out of here. Episode 5 in the books.
RMR CBD coming soon. Shameless plug.